Hello, my dearest darling viewers, subscribers and new subscribers. Welcome to Beauty by Des. Now, normally on a Wednesday, I'll do a kind of midweek musings where we just have a bit of a chat. But because I'm a little bit behind in my schedule and I'm trying to make up for lost time because I'm going away next weekend, not this coming weekend, the weekend after, I need to do a faves and fails, otherwise I'm going to run out of time. So I thought we'd choose Wednesday to do that, but it's going to be more of a chatty faves and fails, although to be honest, they're probably quite rambly as well. But anyway, I know you don't mind rambling, some of my lovely subscribers have told me. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'm going to start off with some fails. Now, the first fail is this Gatineau Age Benefit Melting Cleansing Balm, which my daughter gave me. Now, this is very expensive. It is actually available on QVC, and Gatineau is a very luxurious French brand, but honestly, this was horrible. It was slimy, it was gloopy or gloopy, I don't know. It really didn't feel nice on the skin, nor did it remove my makeup. Can you see it's quite sort of ointmenty, which might be nice because you could imagine that it would melt into a balm, but honestly, it didn't. It really didn't. It was just not my cup of tea, and it definitely didn't get any mascara off. So I'm afraid that's going to be decluttered. Now, the next fail is something that I tried in my affordable makeup video recently, which I'll link down below for you. And it's the Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1 Whipped Makeup. Now, this did have a very odd consistency. It's in fact the complete opposite to the cleanser. It's got this really thick consistency. It is actually like a mousse. It says it's whipped, and I suppose you do whip a mousse, don't you? It's very hard, as it were. It doesn't, as you can see, it doesn't run in any way. And although it does mattify, it's certainly not suitable for older skins. And actually quite a few of you who watched that video said that it really didn't work on my skin. So I don't really know why I got it. I think I was looking for something new that was affordable to try, and I thought, oh, well, let's give it a go. And you can actually see that it has blurred my hand quite a bit, but it's just too matte. And really, do we have time to then put some glow into it after we've used it? I mean, what's the point, really? So I'm afraid that's a bit of a disappointment, and that's also going to be decluttered. Now, another fail is this Canmake Mermaid Skin Gel, which is an SPF 50, I think. And this I reviewed when I did my SPF reviews a few weeks ago, and I'll link that down below for you. This did come out bottom, I think, in my rankings. And there's a good reason for that. It really didn't sit well under makeup. Now, there is a blue version, which apparently is a lot better. And I think the price was okay from memory, but this one really didn't work at all. It didn't sit well under makeup. It is, well, I was going to say slightly tinted. It is tinted. It's very yellow. It doesn't stay yellow, but it didn't smooth my skin. It caused patches when I put foundation over the top, and it really wasn't very pleasant to use. So I'm afraid that's another one that's going to be decluttered. Now let's go on to makeup. And here I'm going to depart from most YouTube content creators who love Merit eyeshadows, and I'm afraid I really don't. I love the brand, I love Merit. As you know, if you've watched my last video, I used a lot of Merit products. I love their, what's it called? I love their face oil. Well, it's not face oil, but it's their sort of prep before you use their complexion stick. Love the complexion stick, love the blusher, love the bronzer, love the highlighter. However, these shadows, these one and dones, they're called solo shadows, I really don't like. Well, what I do like is the casing. It's very attractive, but I have to say these do not look well on my lids at all. They don't last, they crease very quickly, and actually the shades look quite boring. Now, if I swatch them for you, you'll probably think, well, yeah, they're just nice matte shadows. What do you expect from them? But maybe it's because I've gone off a matte shadow, I don't know, but I just found them quite boring. Let me just quickly swatch them for you. This one is called, what's this called? Oh yes, this is Brun, which means brown in French. This is Social. It's a kind of a purpley colour, or maybe mauve. And this is Mid-Century. So there they are. They do look quite pretty on my hand, I will give you that. But I'm afraid they just don't work, and I keep going back to them. I've had them for about a year, but I keep going back to them, and they just simply do not work on my skin. I don't know why that is, and I don't reach for them because I just don't love the shades on my eyelids. But They are lovely shadows for people who love them, and like I say, many creators on YouTube do love them, but they're just not for me. I tell you what, they're blimmin' difficult to get off the back of my hand. It's a shame they don't do the same on my eyelids. I need quite a bit of rubbing there to get all that off. Anyway, moving on to mascara now. So I've got 3 mascaras that didn't work. I've got the Benefit Roller Lash, I've got the Voluminous Hydrofuge from L'Oreal, and I've got the Lash Clash, but it's the waterproof. Now, starting with the Lash Clash, I absolutely love YSL Lash Clash, the regular one, but this waterproof was awful. It was clumpy, couldn't get it off for the life of me, really didn't enjoy using it, so that's definitely going. The Voluminous Waterproof was kind of spindly and didn't really do anything for my lashes at all. I suppose I could have given it a bit longer, and actually I'm going to come to a product that I did like very, very much. So I might consider hanging on to this, I don't know, and possibly the Benefit as well. Now the Benefit Roller Lash, Charlotte Holdcroft, who I love watching, she loves this, she really loves it, so I thought I'd give it a go. But I've never really got on with Benefit products, I must say. I've never really found anything that I like, and this is one of them. But I might reconsider because it looks like I'm holding a couple of drumsticks. Now I might reconsider because in my faves I do have, sorry, why am I doing this? In my faves I do have something related to mascara which might help. So perhaps we'll put those aside, we'll put them in abeyance and decide what we're going to do with them a bit later. Now I've got 3 Hourglass fails, which is really unusual for me. Because like Merit, I love lots of Hourglass products, but I'll tell you for why these particular products don't work for me. Well, this first one is my own stupid fault. This is a lipstick by Hourglass. It's this one. First, I bought the wrong shade. This is the shade, and I'll put the details down below for you. So all the details, all the links will be down below in the description box. It's a very pretty shade. It's much too light for me, but when I got it home, and it's my own stupid fault, I discovered it has fragrance, so I can't wear it, which is an absolute pain. Well, it would be a pain if this shade was the right shade for me, but it's not. It's too light. Oh, it's called Unlocked in the shade Tulip. So this is the shade Tulip. It is really pretty, but it's just too pale for me. And the next Hourglass product that didn't work for me was this lip balm. I mean, first of all, look at it. It's gone all gooey and horrible. It's meant to plump up your lips, and I didn't give it a chance to do that because after a little while it felt really uncomfortable on my lips and it was a bit stingy, and it smells pepperminty, although there's no fragrance in it. I did check, there's no fragrance, but it smelled pepperminty, it stung my lips and I really didn't like it. And then on top of that, the bullet's gone all weird, so not very impressed with that at all. And finally, this is an eye stick. Oh, which as you can see, this is also damaged. So the bullet, if you like, if you want to call it, has come out, which is a bit rubbish given that it's an expensive brand, an expensive product. But again, I just wasn't very impressed with the colour. It didn't excite me. And let me swatch a bit for you. It's funny how they always look nicer on my hand than they do on my lids, but I promise you, look, I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't like it. So trust me, for me, it wasn't right. That's not saying it wouldn't be for you. But I do think the fact that the bullet is broken is a bit bad, isn't it, really, for the price? So not impressed with that either. Now let's go on to a product that I did love and that might help to rescue 2 of the 3 mascaras, and it's the Lash Paradise Primer by L'Oreal, and this was suggested by one of my fantastic viewers, so I'm sure you know who you are if you're watching. Thank you so much for suggesting it. Now I have to say I did use this about 2 or 3 years ago and then I forgot about it, and it is a fantastic addition to your mascara armoury because you know how mascaras don't work right off the bat. I think if you applied this before your mascara, however new it is, it might absolutely do the trick. And in fact, the mascara I'm wearing today, I don't think I've used it very much. It's the number 7, which I used in one of my affordable videos a few weeks ago. And honestly, I think it's worked an absolute treat. So I think this is a real winner. Now, the next product I want to rave about for this month is another SPF. So the Canmake was a fail. This e.l.f. Wow Glow Suntouchables SPF 50, I think again, is absolutely lovely. I don't know why I had it quite low down on my SPF ranking, because it gives the most gorgeous glow. So if you don't want to use a highlighter, use this under your makeup, and honestly it really does give a beautiful glow. I'm going to insert a little clip of me wearing it with nothing else on my skin, and I think it's one of those SPFs that you could wear to the beach or to the pool when you're on holiday if you don't want to put makeup on, and who does, to be honest, in the morning, unless you just wanted to pop a bit of lipstick on. Just wear this and you're good to go. It really is a beautiful SPF, reasonably priced, unfragranced, and an absolute winner. And finally, in makeup, let's talk about these two beauties. So we've got the Summer Fridays Lip Oil and the Lisa Eldridge Balm in Epanoui. Now I'm going to swatch them for you, but both of them are my lips but better. I absolutely love them. This one I showcased last week in a video, which, as I say, I will link down below for you. And this is quite dark, but actually when you smear it on your lips, it isn't at all. There, that's what it looks like. It really is my lips but better. And then the Lisa, which comes in a kind of a bullet. Oh, it's so beautiful. If you compare this to the Hourglass, well, for me, there's absolutely no comparison at all. It glides on. So this is definitely oily and this is more of a glider, so to speak. But can you see those two beautiful shades? Juicy, very much my lips but better, unfragranced, feel gorgeous on the lips, feel very different. So one definitely feels like a balm, the other feels more like an oil. But both of them, I mean, I'm not sure they last particularly well. They last after coffee, but they wouldn't last after breakfast or lunch, I don't think. But they're quick and easy to apply. You don't need a mirror, really. You can just feel your way, as it were. And they're absolutely beautiful products, and I adore them. And they're particularly great for the summer. And while we're still on beauty, and I know a lot of you aren't interested in fragrances at all, but I must just tell you briefly about this new brand I've come across called Noted Aromas. And this brand was recommended to me by my personal stylist. And if you haven't seen that video where my personal stylist, I say my personal stylist, the personal stylist that I used, she sorted out my wardrobe for me, and I'll link that video down below for you. When she came in, I said, "Oh, you smell nice." And she said, "Well, I'm using this brand called Noted Aromas, where they copy famous fragrances, and they really do a fantastic job." Now, two of my favourite fragrances are Mojave Desert, Mojave something, I've forgotten the name of it, hang on a minute. Mojave Desert, no, Mojave, oh God, Mojave something anyway, I can't remember exactly, it's Mojave. Oh, it'll come to me. Anyway, I'll put it on the screen. It'll all be down below for you. So this is the Byredo copy. And this one is a copy of Lost Cherry, which of course is Tom Ford, because he likes to have naughty names, doesn't he? And they are both absolutely fantastic. I think it was Mojave that Debs, the personal stylist, was wearing. And I'm not going to bore you with the top notes, middle notes and base notes, because I know you're not really into that. But the details will be down below for you. And if you fancy trying Lost Cherry, for example, or Mojave, by Byredo, they are very expensive. I think the Byredos are about 120, 140 quid, and the Tom Fords are probably even higher for a very small bottle. Honestly, I highly recommend these. They're only about £40, maybe less, maybe £35 a bottle for 50 ml, or that's 1.7 fluid ounces. They're a British brand, they're fairly new, they're female owned, I think, and I think they're doing a really great job. Now, let's talk about moths. I'm sure that's one of your favourite subjects. Moths are the bane of my life, or at least it is the season of the moth. And we have to try and keep our lovely woolies pristine and keep the moths at bay. And actually what we need to do is keep the larvae at bay. Enter Confuser moth. No, it's not actually called Confuser moth, but that's what I call it. It's actually called moth decoy. And what this does is it stops the moth in its tracks, sort of thing. So the male moth wants to mate with the female moth, and they want to mate on, or at least they want to drop their babies on our lovely woolies, and we don't want that, do we? So you put this in your room, and this has pheromones in it which confuses the moth into thinking it doesn't want the female, or something like that anyway. That's what I like to think of it. So it doesn't upset the moth, it just doesn't mate, that's all. And so less mating means less larvae, means less holes in our woolies. So highly recommend this. This is a British company, but there is an American equivalent, which I'll also link down below for you. And I don't know about worldwide, but I'm pretty sure that either this company or the American one will ship to other countries as well. I'll put as many links as I can down below for you. And it really does work a treat. And they also have boxes where you can catch moths. I'm not going to show you mine because it's full of moths. It's not very attractive. But the box itself is attractive, and also it can sit underneath a table. You don't need to hang one of those ugly things where you catch moths flying about. It really is not very attractive to look at, whereas this little box, just a cardboard box with a sticky base, and it can go under a table and the moths love it. So that gets rid of the pesky little things. Oh, and one other thing to mention, they also do this fantastic spray, which you can use in conjunction with something else I'm about to tell you about, which is another new fave. It's a beautiful spray, and you spray it on your clothes before you steam them. Yes, I have bought a new steamer. It's so exciting. I couldn't wait for my other steamer to go on the blink, and finally it did, and it seemed to be irreparable. It was a cheapo one I bought about 5 years ago. This one is a real game changer. It's absolutely fantastic. It's by Steamery, and I always knew they were an expensive brand, but I didn't know whether I'd like steaming, so to speak, back in the day. But I absolutely love this. Now, it is heavy, and it has a smallish tank. It's quite wee, but it lasts pretty well actually. You can certainly do a few garments with it. You fill it with water, you turn it on, and off you go. I know you've seen probably videos of people on YouTube steaming clothes, but it really does work. It's absolutely fab. Now, I wouldn't take it on holiday with me, but to be honest, I'm not that bothered about ironing when I'm on holiday. I think you've got to be a bit relaxed about it, unless you had to go somewhere smart and all that. You can get travel versions, but this is really worth it. It was about £110, I think, but you know, if you sign up to their newsletter, you usually get £10 off. This is by Steamery. I think it's a Scandinavian brand, but I absolutely love it. In fact, I love it so much, I've actually got rid of the ironing board. Ha ha! No more ironing for me. It's steaming all the way. Now, let's move on to books. And I want to tell you about a book called You Are Here by David Nichols. Now, David Nichols wrote, what's it called, that book about? It's not Another Year, is it? It's something like that. I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, it was the one where this couple are friends, platonic friends. They meet every year, and then eventually they get together, I think, and then, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it. You might not have seen it. And it was made into a film with Anne Hathaway. And I think there's a TV series on Netflix now. Anyway, that's the book that made him famous. Then he wrote a book called Us, which I did quite like. I liked the audiobook. I didn't read it. And the TV series was very good, and it had Tom Hollander in it. So really enjoyed that. And that was about a middle-aged couple who were divorcing and went on one final holiday with their son. But this one is about two misfits, I would call them. So one is a geography teacher who lives up in the north of England. He's in his early 40s, going through a divorce or at least a separation. And the other one is a single woman who's also been through a divorce. She's late 30s. She's a copywriter and a book editor. And both of them are quite unsociable, particularly since their separations from their partners. And they go on this walking holiday together with other people, and their relationship grows. And it was moving, it was funny, it was atmospheric. The countryside was beautifully described. I know it a little bit, not very much, but I do know that north of England trek a little bit. And it was absolutely delightful, and it was beautifully read by the two characters, or by two actors who play the characters. I've forgotten their names now, but they were both fantastic. In fact, the bloke was in Line of... No, not Line of Duty. He was in Line of Duty, that's right. Yes, he was in Line of Duty. The woman was in some other things I've seen, can't remember what now. Anyway, it's beautifully read. Highly recommend it. Really, really enjoyed it. I am also trying to read a classic. I've decided that I do need to up my classics ante, and I'm actually reading The Grapes of Wrath. I'm about halfway through. It's pretty hard going in terms, not of the writing, because the writing is poetic, it's written idiomatically, it's beautifully, beautifully written, but it's so relentlessly sad and unremittingly hard on the characters. I mean, I kind of knew it would be, but I didn't realise it would be that hard. But it is beautifully written, and I am enjoying it, if you can say enjoying it. I'm appreciating the writing, let's put it that way, in the storytelling. And of course it describes a part of America and a part of history of America, which I don't really know much about. So I'm enjoying it, as it were, or I'm learning something through reading it. Now, I wanted to talk about a TV series I didn't like, and I actually paid a Disney Plus subscription for a month to, no, was it a month? Yes, it was a month to watch it. And it was Capote and the Swans. Oh my God. I mean, it was Tom Hollander again, who's fantastic, and Naomi Watts was equally fantastic. But honestly, I couldn't have cared a damn about any of the characters. I thought they were all awful, particularly Truman Capote was just the worst. And I kind of knew he was a bit of a... But I really didn't appreciate how bad, particularly towards the end of his life, which I guess this period is. Really didn't like it, didn't want to carry on watching it, and my husband didn't either. So I'm afraid we had to give that a miss. So if you thought about watching it, maybe give it a go if you wanted to. I quite liked Feud, actually, the another Ryan Murphy, is it, series. And I actually really loved that other one. What was it? It was the Hollywood one, which was a bit naughty about Dreamland, about going to Dreamland. That was quite good. But this really, I wouldn't bother with if I were you. And finally, I just wanted to mention a couple of creators that I'm really enjoying on YouTube. And one of them is called Anna Reid, and she does fashion videos. She's probably late 30s, early 40s maybe. I really like her. She's very funny, but very helpful as well. She talks a lot about what's in fashion and what isn't, but in the nicest possible way. She sends herself up. She's really good. She knows her fashion history as well, and I absolutely love her. She's just a delight to watch. And the other one is a new to me mature woman on Instagram, and she is called Getting It Grey. Well, she's not called Getting It Grey at all. She's called Alison, but her handle is Getting It Grey. And I discovered her through Lisa Eldridge, because Lisa published a video just a few days ago where she took Alison into her studio and made her up. Now, I'm not going to go on about it because I have a video coming up where, well, I won't say any more, but it's related. Let's say it's related to Alison and her visit to Lisa's studio. Not that I have anything to do with Alison or Lisa, by the way, but I really liked looking at her content after I discovered her, so you might enjoy her as well. And she has gone grey. She was actually, I think, quite dark. Maybe not as dark as me, but she was dark, and she has beautiful, well, white hair, almost absolutely beautiful hair. So there you have it. So a slightly different midweek musings, not really a musings, more of a faves and fails. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I really enjoyed making it. And I'm now going to have a very cold drink, because honestly, after I've been going on about how dreadful the weather's been in London, it suddenly got very, very hot, and it's particularly hot up here. I'm in my usual midweek studio, as it were, which is actually my office at the top of the house. And as we know, tops of the houses tend to be very hot if the weather's hot outside. So I'm going to get a cold drink, but I've absolutely loved talking to you today, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, I would love it. If you are not already a part of the Beauty by Des fam, then I would love you to join us, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought of it. And thanks so much for watching. It means the absolute world to me that you take some time out of your day to watch my videos. And I hope you're all doing really well, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye!